And welcome to the 26th episode of the TechnoBuffalo Show. I'm one of your two hosts for today, Sean Ani, editor-in-chief of the site, and I'm joined by executive editor of Mobile, Todd Hazelton.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing today, Todd?
I'm good.
Because,
as usual.
you and I don't ever talk before the show, ever, so
No.
I have no idea how you're doing. But I listened to this one podcast called How Did This Get Made, and two of the three hosts are married.
Uh-huh.
But when you first listen to the show, you don't realize that because the husband asks his wife, and how are you today, June? And once I learned they were married, I was like, that is the oddest opening ever.
Yeah, right.
But just to be clear, Todd and I are not married.
No, not yet.
Christy might have some things to say about
right.
that. So we're back after a short break. Last week, Todd was sick, unfortunately, and was not in any shape to be doing a podcast.
Yeah.
But we are back this week, and there's not anything going on in the world of technology.
Nothing, except for a million things. A million phones, and I don't know how we're struggling. We have so many. I don't know how we're going to review them all.
I have no clue how you guys are going to get through all the reviews. I mean, Joey and his crew, and that's why Joey's still not here, is they're in the middle of review season. And now all of a sudden fall has turned into phone review season.
Yeah. There's a ton.
It's unbelievable how many phones there are out there.
And I guess just in general, I mean, we have so much stuff. So yesterday I was at Google's meeting in New York City where we got to check out, for the first time firsthand, because they made the Nexus announcements online, we got to see the Nexus 6. The Nexus 9, though, we'd seen that a little earlier with HTC about last week, I guess. And then the Nexus Player for the first time. So it was cool to see them all together. And we're really excited. They actually should be arriving on store shelves, start of November. And pre-orders for the Nexus 6 were open yesterday, so that's crazy.
I forgot that you got to see the Nexus Player. I've ordered one, but I have not seen it yet. How was it?
It's so cool. Like, so it was basically like set up in a demo station, so they already had it on screen and stuff like that. But it was really awesome. So you can search for not just like by movie, but you could say like Oscar-nominated movies from 2011, and it'll bring them all up on the screen. So really cool stuff like that. So it's not just searching like movies with the word Oscar in it. It's smarter than that. And then it has its own sort of app system. So it's obviously based on Android, but it has like PBS apps, and so sort of what you find on like an Apple TV, right? Like you get your Apple TV apps. There are these apps that are dedicated for that, and a lot of them are games too, which is cool because they work with that gaming controller, and they also would work with just the remote that comes with it. Some of those games. So I thought that was neat, and I'm kind of excited to see sort of that app ecosystem grow. And so like HBO Go wasn't there yesterday, but they were like, well, don't forget that it has the Chromecast functionality built in, so you can always just cast HBO Go from your Android device to it anyway. So it's just really cool, kind of super robust platform. I'm excited. I thought it looked really great too. I might want to pick one up myself now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to testing it out. One real quick note to Charles, who just asked a question. Could you be a little bit more specific? I want to get to your question, but I'd like to just know a little bit more about exactly what you're speaking of on the problems. So yes, you've now gotten Todd to play with the Nexus 6. And again, everyone, these are what we're going to discuss here today. Does not count as our reviews. These are from momentary hands-ons with the devices. We have not. The Nexus 6 we'll have more time with soon. Droid Turbo, I'm not sure when we'll have more time with it, but
we have that. We put up our one yesterday. Yeah, so that's out in California. I played with it briefly. They have it, but so we should have more coverage on that soon.
Yeah, we should. So Droid Turbo looks spec-wise to be an absolute beast.
Yeah, it's crazy. But hand in hand, like having played with both of these literally sort of back-to-back, day-to-day, Droid Turbo is cool on paper. It's amazing. You know, I love that there's a promise of 48 hours of battery life, which is pretty incredible. Obviously, we have to test that, and it says mixed usage and stuff like that, but that's pretty cool. But I didn't get to like play with the camera very much. It got a 21 megapixel shooter on it, so that's exciting. But when I held the Nexus 6, I was like, wow, this is an Android phone that I really want. It's big, but it's not. I mean, I'm a phablet guy. I've been carrying the Note 4, iPhone 6 Plus. So to me, I was like, wow, this is great. But I know some people are going to be like, it's a little too big.
Right.
But the code name, I was joking about this with Jacob actually. Like the code name was Shamu, so it's like a whale of a phone, right? But but it feels awesome. It's got that same aluminum kind of frame that the Moto X 2014 has. The camera, I tested. I was like shooting it briefly while I was playing with it. Seemed to be really, really good. And they had some demo pictures on there that they had shot. Google had shot in New York City, and those looked really nice too. Like zooming in, it was really clear. I don't know, and Lollipop looks really cool. It's just like a total fresh coat of paint. If you have a Nexus 5, I'm sure you already played with it already in some fashion. But I think it just... And Google said this too at Google I/O, I think, when they talked about it. Like they just made these like small animations, like when you open up an app or like do something, and it all just feels really fluid and alive. And I think that's what I like so much about it. So I'm very impressed with what I've seen so far. And we saw the Nexus 9 too, which is exciting. I actually have our review unit nearby, but we can't review that yet. We're only on first impressions right now, so you'll have to wait for more information on that in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, we have a double embargo on the Nexus devices. We can unbox them, but we can't review them yet.
Reviews not yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting, and I've never really seen it work out this way before, that there were so many in the fall, which almost makes me wonder if the phone companies are starting to think of these as holiday gift-giving items.
Yeah, and I think so. And Google actually said yesterday, they kept saying, in time for the holidays, in time for the holidays. This is very much, what was once a developer brand is so very much a consumer brand now, which is really interesting how that's sort of transformed for Google. And I saw that yesterday, the way they had the products on display around the room. They had, sort of like the living room. Here's our Nexus Player, and Google's partners can build off of that platform. And then over here are our watches, and over here our phone and our tablets, and it's this whole consumer ecosystem now, that came out of just a couple years ago. Nexus was basically just for developers.
Can you imagine, though, trying to buy someone else a phone?
No, I know. That's what's always so strange about like holidays, right? And like buy one get one free phones. Like I guess if you're getting your wife one, then you can be like, okay, we're both gonna get it. But it's kind of hard, right? You gotta get a contract. Excuse me.
Yeah, I've always, I would, not even from the contract perspective, but a phone is such a personal item.
Right.
Because what if the person doesn't like iOS and you buy them an iPhone, and vice versa for an Android device? Or even in the Android ecosystem, what if they're a Samsung fan but not an LG fan, and you buy them a G3?
Right. You're going to have to know.
No. I'm never going to go down this road. The same with tablets. I would never do this.
Right. My wife's been using HTC for a while now. She's on the last year's model, the M7. So I know, excuse me, I'm still getting over this cough. I know that she's an Android fan, and she loves her HTC phones. So I know that that's probably the route I would go. But I know it's hard.
Yeah, I might give somebody a gift card and say this is for a phone.
Right.
But I would never go out and buy them the actual phone. I just...
Yeah.
Phones are way too personal.
I know. Probably one of the most personal things you have on you, right?
Exactly. Because people stress over these decisions. It would never even cross my mind to try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of all these phones, there was a very interesting tidbit of news today out of Samsung. Do you want to fill the audience in on that?
So Samsung market share is down a bit, and profits from their smartphone division. I think that's why, in the past we'd hear like, we sold 10 million, 20 million, Galaxy X smartphones. And this year they were very quiet on that front. And I think ultimately now we're seeing that in the latest earnings. Samsung said they're going to switch their strategy with their smartphones And I think in the past what we've seen is they would sell, 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch, all these different phones at different price points. Like you have Galaxy series, then you have other ones like their Galaxy S5 or whatever, that flagship, and the Note, and then other smaller versions in between. And now this year, I think they're going to consolidate that. It sounds like they have a new strategy moving forward. So,
yeah, this is a very. It almost seemed apologetic.
Mm-hmm.
Their comment, and that's what I'm reading into it. It seemed very like, okay, yeah, we know we gotta change things.
Which is fine, what might have worked before might not always work for a company. But I got to say, I have a Note 4 here. We just put up our review. It is a fantastic device, and if they stick to a strategy where they focus on these kind of products like that, focus on materials and stuff like that, I think we'll see a lot of good things coming out of Samsung.
Yeah, and by no means do I think Samsung's jumping out of the game. I think they're just they're refocusing a bit, which I think we can all agree they've needed for some time now. But
it's like they have a screen size for everything, which is cool. I mean, obviously, I guess it's not sustainable, which is why.
Yeah. There was one tablet release they did a while back, or well, it was at CES when I went to the Samsung demo, and I was getting so lost trying to shoot those videos because I was like, wait, which screen size is this one? There's 3 different sizes running around.
Like, here's the Galaxy Note Pro 12.2 Tab 4. Galaxy Tab 4 7.0, and so many.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're getting a lot of questions here, several about Apple Pay, so I want to jump into those. From Sean the Man 34, and I know the answer on this one. Have you guys used Apple Pay yet? Todd has. I have not had the chance yet.
Yeah, so I've used it twice now, and I have 2 different experiences. So yesterday I tweeted, Apple Pay impressed me because by the time the awkwardness and fear of failure of using my phone to pay set in, I'd already paid. And that was at a McDonald's where I was like, how does this work? I haven't used it yet, but I'm just going to do it. And I just held my phone up to the NFC terminal, and all of a sudden Apple Pay opened up and started scanning my fingerprint, and that was it. Now today,
you don't even have to open the app.
Yeah, you don't do anything. Like you just hold the phone over it, and with your finger on Touch ID. It's really cool. But then today, I was same thing. I went to McDonald's for a coffee, and I went to do it because I was confident from the last time when it worked so well, and I tapped it, and I wanted to switch the card it was using, and it kept fumbling, like because I held it over the terminal and it had like my default debit card, but I wanted to switch it, and then when I went to switch it, I pulled it off, and like Apple Pay disappeared, and I was like, and then I just took out my credit card and swiped it.
I think that's what's going to happen to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, if it's not working immediately and you're not used to it, like, I kind of just want to get used to it. Like, my fear is there's people in line waiting behind you, like, come on, stop fumbling, just pay, dude.
Kind of like how I look at people now that write checks.
Right. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I'm amazed how many people I still see writing checks at, like, my local Walmart. I'm just like, are you kidding me?
In my generation, I don't think I've ever written a check for anything besides like rent.
I used to carry a checkbook.
Now I do that online.
When I was like 16 to 19 or so, I had my wallet, my checkbook with me everywhere. So I remember those days. We would write on a piece of paper what we were paying you.
So true.
We were when I was out in Irvine, we were going through a box of something of John's from his brother-in-law, and at the bottom there was a 45 record. Now, Todd, I'm going to hope that you know what a 45 is.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to explain it to almost everyone else in the office.
Old 45s, right? I think there's a couple songs about those.
Yeah, but
it's the speed, right?
It was the number of revolutions per minute.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, they're smaller records, and they had a bigger hole in the middle, and you had to put an adapter in them unless your record player had an adapter built in.
Okay.
But yeah, I was just like, oh, I feel so old right now. I feel so old. So following up on that Apple Pay question, we have two here from Charles Van Ness. The first one saying thoughts about Apple Pay and problems with it, and I asked him earlier in the show to explain what he meant by problems, and he clarified that, such as most retailers not wanting to take it anymore, CVS is backing out and not taking it. Well, CVS actually never agreed to it. Walgreens did, but CVS and Rite Aid never were announced as retailers.
Yeah, I think the thing that happened, right, is that where there were NFC terminals, Apple Pay sort of happened to work, right? Like I think it works in taxis in New York City. I haven't tried it yet, but these groups like CVS and other companies are part of the Merchant Customer Exchange, MCX, which I guess is working on their own sort of mobile payment service using QR codes called Currency. And I guess so they have this consortium, and the deal is like, hey, you're not going to support these other systems, and I think so they just disabled, it sounds like, right? Like CVS, like they're no longer taking anything that would have accepted Apple Pay because Apple Pay sort of just worked.
Yeah.
Which I think is weird. Like, I don't know. But MCX says like the retailers know what their customers want. I think it's the other way around. Customers know what they want. Just give choice to everybody. But
exactly. You know, I think in the NFC payment space, it's going to be very much a whatever the customers are going to end up choosing the winning format in this one, I feel.
It should, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many format wars over the years, you know, especially in home video with VHS, Beta, Blu-ray, HD, DVD, and so on, which means I always back the format that loses. Yeah. So whichever NFC system I settle on, don't worry, folks, it's going away. Which I have not settled on one yet. But I think that MCX is not going to find this an easy fight.
Also, come on, like QR codes?
Yeah, that boggles my mind.
If I think that it's somewhat awkward, like when I was buying my coffee today, to just tap my phone, I'm not gonna like take pictures or whatever with QR codes. Like that's gonna take so much longer.
I mean, the Starbucks app,
which is okay, that's great.
Yeah, I use that quite often, and that works.
You're right.
Fairly seamlessly, but still, it's a little awkward, and holding, because sometimes I have to stand there and twist the phone a little bit to get the reader to hit it.
Yeah, but it's still quick. I use it every morning, like beep.
Yeah, no, I use it whenever I'm out of town. We don't have we finally have a Starbucks here. It's in the Hy-Vee grocery store, which means it's a pain in the butt to get to.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, whenever I'm traveling, I'm like, I love this, and I'm sure I will love NFC, once it comes more to my town and I can use it on a more regular basis. But as for MCX, I have a lot of problems with it. The fact that it's connected to your bank account, it is connected, it's transferring information, which Apple Pay does not.
Yeah, there's data collected, right?
Yeah, there's data collected. It's transferred via the cloud, including your card number, and there's a lot of big question marks here. And I'm sorry, not your card number, because it doesn't work with credit cards.
Right. Yeah, just bank account.
Yeah, which and I understand. Having been a retailer, it sucks. A lot of people don't realize that retailers have to pay a percentage of every credit card they take to the credit card processor. Mm-hmm. So yeah, as a retailer, it'd be great to get rid of that. You're never going to pry credit cards from your client's hands. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And now with all these cards that also collect points, like I use a hotel card that earns me points with my chain. I don't want to lose that.
Right.
So
I use a Delta card.
Yeah, so MCX has got some issues, and I have not used MCX, so I'm speaking only from the information I've read, but it's not alluring to me at all.
Yeah, I'd rather stick with Google Wallet and Apple Pay. Google Wallet's not accepted everywhere, but it's accepted, at least around me, sort of in the same areas where you can pay with Apple Pay. And I don't know, it seems to work. as well, but you just have to, enter a pin code into the fingerprint, which I kind of prefer. But
Yeah, as Charles just pointed out, MCX has been in development for 3 years, and
right.
that's great, but it's still, yeah, I'm not sure about that thing. From Sean the Man 34, do you ever get weird reactions when you explain what you guys do for a living? Yes.
Yes, every single time.
So
the number one answer is, you get paid to do that?
I get that a lot, and I also get a lot of, so you just play with phones?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I imagine what it's like for Joey.
Yeah, right. You just play games.
Yeah, it's not an easy job to explain in the first place, and if you don't do an absolutely perfect job, the reactions are even odder.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I just say I work in consumer electronics.
Yeah, but the thing that I get quickly is I'm automatically either like a developer or an IT guy. And I'm like, honestly, I have no idea, because I don't deal with IT stuff at all. Like we deal with like consumer products, not so much that other side of it. And then development, it's like, if you're in tech, then you must know how to like program too.
Yeah.
Once upon a time I did, no longer.
The other thing that I love is once your friends and family know what you do, they assume that you know absolutely everything
Yeah.
about every tablet, every phone, how to fix every problem they've ever had on their computer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times where my
Printers.
Yeah. Oh yes.
I haven't
Yeah,
touched a printer in 2 years. I don't know what to do with that.
I just went. My mother's printer wasn't working. I was like, it's installed. I don't know. I finally, I mean, after like an hour, I narrowed it down to the black cartridge was plugged.
Huh.
But I was like, why do you think, you know what I do? Why do you think I am an expert on printers?
See, I stopped buying printers when the ink cartridges were just expensive as just buying a new printer, and I was like, because I didn't do a laser one, and I was like, forget it. There's a mail shop down the road. I just go there.
A lot of times it's just cheaper to buy a new printer every time you run out of ink.
Yeah, exactly. This clunky thing.
Which just blows my mind that there have been times where I'm like, I need ink, or I could just buy a new printer.
Right, yeah.
Because it's actually going to be about $20 cheaper.
So funny.
It really is. It's kind of mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
From Sasha Bahal, good question. In the U.S., do you guys have chip and PIN for your debit and credit cards? Okay. Here's the funny thing about the U.S. Okay, so my first trip to England was in 2011, and every place I went to use my credit card just looked at me and went, "Oh,
yeah,
swipe."
I have both on mine.
I finally have PIN or chip cards, but here's the thing: a lot of our cards, even though we're finally getting the chip, are not chip and PIN; they're chip and signature.
Right.
Which I don't know why.
And they still have the magnetic strip, right? Mind you, I think.
They still have, yes, they still have the magnetic strip. I cannot believe we're still working with magnetic strips in 2014. But yeah, so we have chipped cards now, and I think by next year or 2016, every card has to be chipped. But for whatever reason, we went with chip and signature as opposed to chip and pin because America likes to do everything differently.
Yeah, right.
Hey, the rest of the world's using this other measurement system. I think we should come up with our own.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone's using centigrade. Let's go with Fahrenheit.
Man.
From Sean the Man 34 and also from Roman Development, both of you kind of asked the same question. Thoughts on the Microsoft Fit Band? Yay!
Yeah, I was like, well, I know it's like another one, but I thought it was cool that it's cross-platform. Because there's not many out there. If you look around, I guess you have that really sync up data. You have sort of Pebble, but it's not even like real fit data unless you. I mean, you kind of can with the latest update. So I thought that was cool, but the format's weird, right? Like it's rectangular on your wrist, so it's kind of like upside down. Like I naturally kind of like look at my watch like this. I don't know. I have to play with it before I judge it, but
yeah, there's so many fit bands on the market.
No.
Yeah, I'm not writing the. Just so everyone knows, I'm not bemoaning this because it's Microsoft. I'm just bemoaning it because I'm like, another fit band. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I've thought about buying some fit bands, and then every time I go and read them, I'm like, well, it decided that me riding a motorcycle was me walking, so it counted all these fake steps. I'm just like, then what's the point?
Yeah, it's silly. Even with Android Wear and Google Fit now, the app that takes advantage of the steps and stuff on your phone, they give different readings, which is annoying.
Yeah, so
it just sync up and lie to me, but just sync up, so they're the same.
As I just spilt coffee on my Magic Trackpad. Todd, you tried to tell me this was a no coffee zone.
I did, but I have one right
here. So yeah, here's the idea, folks. Just get out and walk. I mean, it's just go and walk. Don't worry about it.
It is sad when I see how little I've moved all day, though. That's what I'm like. I
try to get up at least once every 90 minutes and just walk around for a minute. And like every time I get a phone call on my landline, I go outside.
Nice. Yeah.
Because I figured that's it. Okay, I'm on the phone. This person needs my attention, but it gives me an excuse to get up and walk around.
I do enjoy that stuff, like with SL 3.5 on the Note 4. It and probably earlier versions. It's like you haven't moved for an hour, you haven't moved for 2 hours, you haven't moved for 3 hours. It's like you should take a walk, and I'm like, yeah, I probably should.
Yeah, this job, folks, does require a lot of sitting.
Unless you have a standing desk. Didn't you have a stand desk in Irvine?
Yeah, we do. It's actually the desk that John's filming at now, the white desk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it has a motor in it, and it can go up and down. I've stood at it, and that was an interesting experience. It wasn't as difficult as I expected it to be. And I did it for like a half hour or so on one of my visits out there. I mean, whoopee, a half hour. But when you've never done it before, I was like, okay. But it's kind of an interesting experience. I kind of liked it. From Nicholas Papandreou, I hope I said your name correctly. iPhone 6 Plus or Nexus 6? That's
so tough. They're both really great-looking phones. If you like Android at all, Nexus 6 is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I really like that phone. And if you have an iPhone, I say 6 Plus. I like phablets. I like big phones. So that's what I carry too. But right now I've been carrying the Note 4 and the 6 Plus, so 2 phablets. And to this day, I don't get the complaints about like not fitting in jeans. Like, I don't wear super baggy jeans, and I carry 2 phablets. So
yeah.
And Nexus, I don't know. Nexus 6 is an exciting phone, and I think just in the same way that the iPhone 6, and it's what Apple does for all their products, but it'll get the updates each year. Nexus 6 is a good bet too, because you're just going to get the latest version of Android for a couple of years to come.
Yeah. From Roman Development, I noticed that TechnoBuffalo has been receiving new banners and artworks across the YouTube channel and Google Plus page. Is this tending towards a new website design? Maybe. No, honestly, we probably have weekly conversations about the look of things and designs. I will say this: there will be the current version of TechnoBuffalo is called TB3. TB4 is discussed frequently, but we have no current timeline to it. But we do have a list of features that we want to add, features we want to tweak. So there will definitely be a TB4 at some point. I just don't have a definite timeline. right now the artwork is just artwork. It's to freshen things up. Although I think it all looks great. I think that's all been done by Mark out in Irvine, and he's been doing a really nice job on it.
Yeah, I think they look great too.
But there will be a new TV at some point. I'm just not. I don't have a timeline, so it'll happen at some point.
Right.
Yeah, and it will be another weekend where the weekend we launched TB3, we had so many problems with it. Oh, that was not a fun
TB3?
weekend.
Oh yeah, but wasn't the first? It was the first TV that was.
The
crazy.
first TB completely crashed in 45 seconds. TB3, that was managed by John Quatch and myself, and we went home on Saturday night and we slept for 6 hours, and we came back Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and we were here for 25 hours.
Just working on the site.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. I went home and napped for 3 hours and came back. I was like, all right, what'd you guys find broken while I napped? Because I knew something had to have broken while I was gone.
Terrifying.
Let's see. We got a lot of questions here, so let me... this is a tough one. From Sasha Bahal, 1+1 or Nexus 6 and why?
Nexus 6. I don't know.
Really?
I could just say that right off the bat. I really like the 1+1. I bought one myself. I don't know, man. I'm in love with the Nexus 6, I think. It just, like, it feels great. It looks great. Maybe it's Lollipop. Maybe, I don't know. And I love CyanogenMod, too, on the 1+1. I thought that was great. I don't know. My jaw just, like, kind of dropped when I finally held the Nexus 6 yesterday. I was like, wow. This is nice.
We've actually got a question here from Twitter. Someone tweeted to me from Shivam Kaylee. I hope I said your name correctly. Would Samsung, HTC, or Apple make a cheap smartphone like the Moto G? Apple wouldn't, without a doubt. I don't see why Samsung wouldn't, though.
I feel like Samsung sort of has, but not really. I mean, they're not like pure Android and not targeted that way. They're sort of just released to different markets. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's what Samsung's new strategy this year will be, though. I mean, if they're tweaking the way they do things, they could potentially take the Motorola sort of model and have this like entry level, and then just split it up between flagships instead of having like 40 different phones.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, here's a question from Sasha Bahal about when did each version of TB launch? I actually can remember this fairly well.
Nice.
TB1 launched October 2009. TB2 launched January 2011. I remember that because we got the final code as John and I arrived in Vegas for CES. And we launched TB2 from John's hotel room at CES. Nice. And it's now a running joke between John and I because that did not work so well. It's been a running joke between John and I that we're going to go to a hotel every time we launch a new version of TB. TB3 was like a little over a year ago. I don't remember the exact time, though. But, yeah, I can vividly remember the TB.
Was it already over a year ago?
Holy God. Yeah. Isn't it amazing how time flies?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to me how fast time flies anymore. Okay, let's see here. I saw one I wanted. There it is from Charles Van Ness. Do you have any thoughts on the iPad Air 2 and the Mini 3 and why they didn't upgrade the internal specs? Well, they did upgrade the internal specs on the Air 2.
Yeah, it's got the A8X processor.
Right.
Maybe 3. I don't know why they did that.
I'm still trying to figure out why they removed the rotation switch.
Yeah. Maybe just to fit things in the right places.
That's all I can figure, but man, that's not convenient. As for the Mini 3,
blah.
I don't know what they were thinking there. It is literally a fingerprint reader different.
Yeah, and the new color, right? Cool. But
well, let me change my opinion.
Like, get the 2. You don't need a Touch ID on the
Exactly. I will say this: after having Touch ID on the iPhone, I do find myself quite often with my iPad Air going, "Oh yeah, right."
Right, it's great.
But there wasn't enough difference with the iPad Air 2 this year for me to upgrade. I was out in Irvine when it was announced, and I talked to John about it when he got back from the Apple event, and he's like, "Don't do it, because next year there's going to be major differences."
Right.
So I'm holding out for a year, and I'm not going to upgrade. I've honestly, what tempted me the most to upgrade wasn't Touch ID, but the 64 gigabytes now being the same price as 32 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, because I use my iPad extensively, especially when I'm traveling to watch movies and stuff, and so I'm always like, I can only fit 3 movies on. I know, first world problems. I know, but with I've got a trip to England coming up, I'd like to have more than 3 movies on my iPad.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to do that just for another 32 gigabytes of space and a fingerprint reader.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Speaking of movies from Sasha Bahal, which Marvel Cinematic Universe movie are you looking forward to? Some or all of them from 2015 onwards? This is clearly more in my wheelhouse. If anyone had come to me, say 10 years ago, and said, there's going to be a Black Panther movie and an Inhumans movie, I would have first said, who are you and what are you doing in my bedroom? And then I would ask them what hallucinogen they were on. I love the fact that I'm living in a time where people have finally realized what I've known about comic books since I was 4 years old, that these are great stories, that they are just a endless well of great entertainment. And so it's very rewarding to me to see that finally being recognized by mainstream media. I'm excited for all of them. The Civil War story for Captain America should be a great one. The idea that I'm going to see the Infinity War, which is the Infinity Gauntlet story in the comics, the idea that I'm going to see that spread over 2 movies on the big screen, my brain explodes at the concept. I've known it's coming, but still, to see it actually up on a screen and say, part 1 and part 2, Infinity War, I'm just like, oh. So I'm excited for all of them. I'm really, really excited. Marvel has. I remember when Marvel was bankrupt. I remember when there was a lot of scuttlebutt in the industry that Marvel wasn't going to be around in 12 months, and they did everything they could to pull themselves out. And then Disney stepped in and bought them. So it's mind-boggling to me to see Marvel going, so we've done $7 billion over 10 movies. I remember when their stock was 25 cents on the NASDAQ.
Wow.
And I was trying to scrape together money to buy as much Marvel stock as I could because I knew that couldn't last.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so no, I'm looking forward to all of them. I think they announced a great slate, and I'm thrilled that characters like Black Panther are finally going to be known by the wider world, and the Inhumans and Captain Marvel, and so I'm very, very excited. Actually, Sean the Man, we've already answered this. How's the iPad Air 2 worth the upgrade from an iPad 2.3? No. Well, no, I take that back. From a 2.3, yes.
I think so.
Yeah, from an iPad 2 or 3, yes, I would say it's worth the upgrade. From an iPad Air, no. It's just not enough there yet. I'm sure there'll be a lot going on next year. Let's see. Oh, interesting question from Henrique Luro. Hi, question for a gaming user like me. In gaming terms, should I buy the iPhone 6 4.7 or the Nexus 6 5.9? Please help. If you're gaming,
I'd go with the bigger screen. But
bigger screen, definitely. Because then you have to kind of consider the iPhone 6 Plus. I think in terms of the games available, all the good games are available on both platforms at this point.
There's still some exclusives on iTunes. Well, it goes either way.
Yeah, there's exclusives both directions. Heck, I saw a Fire Phone exclusive game today.
Right.
So for all 8 of you that bought a Fire Phone,
yeah. Here you go.
You got an exclusive game, guys.
I would just go with the biggest screen you can for gaming. I like gaming on, like I've said 3 times already in this show. I'm a phablet guy, so I like the bigger screen, especially for gaming and movies on, when you're riding the train or something like that. That's what
I like big screens, and I cannot lie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, always go with the bigger screen for gaming.
And to be honest, though, when I play Android games, I really like the it's not Game Center. What's it called? Google Play Games, I guess. Like the achievements and stuff, I think are a lot better on Android versus Game Center on iOS. Where like they're kind of like worthless. But like as you're gaming now, and a lot of the games have achievements in them, it pops up and it's like you've done this, and now you're level. I'm like level 12 or something in Android, like Google Play. I like that aspect of it all.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you're an achievement guy, Android seems like a pretty good way to go.
From Sean the Man 34, will Amazon give up on making a phone, or do you think they will try again? Oh boy, that's a tough one.
I'd guess they're not going to try again, but who knows? I mean, they took a bath on that.
They're sitting on $83 million worth of Fire phones.
Yeah.
I mean,
if they do it again, they have to rethink the strategy. Sell it unlocked on their site direct at a low cost, like Motorola model.
Yeah.
And then I'm not even sure that'll do well because the phone's not very good.
That was the number one problem with the Fire phone, was that they did not follow the Motorola model.
Yeah.
I mean, not that we're saying Motorola came up with the ultimate system, but when you think Amazon, you think lower price. And they came out with a flagship phone price for a phone that didn't match the price.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and exclusive to AT&T and contract, and that was just bad.
I don't know if they will try again. They took a huge bath. They've got success with the tablets. They've got success with the e-readers. So why drag themselves back down with another phone?
Yeah. If you're like an Amazon shareholder, you'd be like, are you kidding me? You're doing this again? And if they flop again, I don't think they'll do it. Hopefully not. I mean, there were rumors that they were building like 2 or 3 phones, right? But now we haven't heard anything, and maybe those are all done.
Yeah.
So let's see.
From Ewat Buys, which do you think is better, Nexus 9 or iPad Air 2?
Oh, man. It's so hard comparing Android to iOS. They're just totally different platforms. And I use them both and like them both. Yeah, I don't really have an answer to that.
That comes down to which operating system you prefer.
More and more we talk about on the show the ecosystem that you're sort of in.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't make, to me, if you own an iPhone, to me it doesn't make as much sense to then buy an Android tablet, and vice versa, because you might as well stay in the ecosystem where you're already buying your books and your movies and your music, so that you can access them on both. Your messages are coming in on both, your email accounts. I just feel like you get the most out of your tablet and your phone if you stay in the same ecosystem for both. And that's where it's going across the board. So I don't know that there's an answer like which is better, because it's really which one are you most invested in, and do you want the best experience from that?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Fun question from Sean the Man 34. Why do you guys choose to live where you are now and not move out to Irvine? Well, the thing is,
California's beautiful.
California's beautiful. There's absolutely nothing against Irvine. At least in my case, being older, I was very, very established in Missouri when I got hired by TechnoBuffalo. I have a home here. I have property here. I have a farm here. I mean, I'm very established here. So moving for me would be a major, major change for me. Also, along with the fact that everything out there is far more expensive.
I live the same for me. I'm right here near New York City, but
yeah, I mean, for me though, whenever I get into Irvine, I go grocery shopping as soon as I get there. For the week, pick up stuff, water, drinks, whatever for the room. Mm-hmm. And I look at the price I paid there compared to what I pay here, and I'm like, whoa, wow, Whoa. Okay. So yeah, at least for my case, I was very, very established here in Missouri. Todd.
Yeah, I guess my answer is I'm just born and raised on the East Coast. My whole family's here. My wife works here as well, we're right across the river from Manhattan. So I don't know, we've just been here for a while. And on that note, we actually have a lot of meetings in New York City. So for me in mobile, I'm once or twice a week at least going into the city to meet with somebody. So.
I keep trying to convince John that we need to have one of the future writer summits, here in Kirksville.
Yeah.
We've moved them around. I just don't understand why we haven't had one in Kirksville yet.
We should.
We totally should. And John just kind of stares at me blankly when I bring it up. Well, folks, I think that's going to about do it for today. We have a lot more questions from y'all, and I wish we could get to them all, but unfortunately I just cannot get to all of them every time. So, sorry, I was just reading. There's a lot of great questions. Unfortunately, we just can't get to them all. So, as always, we thank you for joining us. You can find us on the iTunes Store by searching for the TechnoBuffalo Show. You can also find us on the Stitcher app, which means you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. You can find us on Pocket Cast. You can subscribe via RSS feed. Anywhere there's podcasts, you can find the TechnoBuffalo Show. As always, I'm Sean Awney. I'm the editor-in-chief of TechnoBuffalo. I've been joined by executive editor of Mobile, Todd Hazelton.
Bye, everybody.
And we'll see you all back here next week for episode 27. Till then, take it easy. Bye-bye.